Hi, welcome to the third episode of the Bitget Exchange Getting Started tutorial. In this episode, I will be going over how you can use the chart to do some basic technical analysis. Let's get started. In front of us, we are now in the spot portal where we can use the TradingView chart or the original Bitget chart. The benefit of using the TradingView one is that you actually have access to technical analysis tools. You can draw lines, you can map out support and resistances, but you can also add indicators. So first off, let me show you how you can add a specific indicator. So if you hover your mouse over here, you can simply select on indicators, and that is where you can type the indicator of your choice. In this case, I would like to see what the volume is doing overall. So I'm going to type, let's say, volume. You can see a few options. I just want the basic one. I click on it, and as you can see, it adds on an indicator below on the chart, where I can now see what the volume is doing, if there is more volume coming in, or if the volume is decreasing. I can see it per time frame, so currently I have set it to the 1 hour time frame, but I can also select the 15-minute time frame to get a more detailed overview. Or if I'm more of a swing trader, then I'm probably more interested in, let's say, the 4-hour time frame or higher. Now that we have added on our first indicator, we can also adjust the way that we look at it and the way that the indicator looks. And the way that you can do that, and this goes for all indicators incorporated within TradingView. So what you can do, here we can see the volume. There's also a small moving average overlaid on top of it, which means that it basically takes the average and shows a median line throughout the volume for a more easier interpretation of it. We can do a few things over here. We can either, if we don't want to see it, we can simply hide it without removing the indicator entirely, or we can show it once again. We can also adjust its settings so we can adjust it based on our personal likings. So what we can do is we can, for example, switch the measurement of the moving average should you want to do so. By default it is standing on 20, but let's say we would like to see a 15 moving average. All we have to do is change the number, click OK, and you can see that the moving average line is being adjusted automatically. The same goes for the small moving average, which is another indicator that is incorporated in this volume indicator. So in reality, while we have selected one indicator, we actually get multiple indicators packed into one. Now, if you have trouble making a lot of sense of it, or you just don't like the way that it looks, you can actually adjust the style. You can, for example, turn off the moving average, or you can turn on the smoothed moving average, for example, as per your liking. But not only that, you can also change its colors. For example, let's say I want everything to be shown as green, and I want to show the growing part of the volume, let's say, as purple. That is entirely up to you, but it gives you a lot of flexibility in the way that you like to look at your chart. As you most likely spend a lot of time looking at the chart, it is really great to know that there's the option of adjusting it to your liking. I will leave it at that for now, because I also want to cover some other things that you can do in this chart. For now, I simply want to remove the indicator, and instead of adding an indicator below on the chart, there are also indicators that are being applied directly on the chart. You can simply zoom in and zoom out by simply scrolling the mouse button. Now I want to actually add, let's say, a moving average. I'm typing in moving average right now, and here I just want to go for the basic one. Now, for example, what the moving average simply does, it essentially takes the average of all the movements in price over a measured period of time. That is simply what the moving average is doing. Currently, we see that it is set to 9, meaning that it is taken over 9 days. As you can see, I have changed the time frame now to the daily time frame. I have added a moving average now. The color is shown as blue on the chart. For me, currently it's slightly difficult to see, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now, what does this really mean? A moving average is simply a line that measures all the movements in price over a specified period of time. In this case, it is set to 9, meaning that it takes the average of the past 9 days. And that is what this line represents. They are commonly used moving averages, so for the sake of that, I'm going to set it slightly to a more higher time frame one, which involves around trading strategies such as trading a bull cross and a bear cross, for example. So in order for that, we would like to see the 50, and I'm going to add another one more moving average. So you can have multiple moving averages, which is going to be the 200 moving average. As you can see, I have now 2 moving averages on the chart, but as a matter of fact, one is now invisible. That is because the 200 moving averages is taken from a much larger time frame. So actually, in order to see it, I need to zoom out of my chart. But there's a second problem. They have the same color, and I don't necessarily like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the 50 moving average into a yellow line, so that I can make a clear distinguishment which one is the 200 moving average and which one is the 50-day moving average. Now, this is a popular indicator used by many traders across the globe. For example, when one of these lines cross with each other on a daily time frame, it can be classed as, let's say, a bullish cross. Or if, let's say, the 50 moving, so the yellow line moves underneath the blue line, often is being classed as a dead cross. And what that means is it is largely accepted that once the 50 line moves above the 200 daily moving average, in other words, creating a golden cross, it is widely expected that we would see a significant increase in price on the asset that this cross has been shown on. And as you can see, we did had a golden cross on the 7th of February 2023, and as you can see that eventually we did saw a significant increase in price after its period of consolidation in which this happened. Even though we had a retracement, the 200 moving average was support at this time, and from there on out we have seen a significant increase in price. Now, the idea of a dead cross is very, very similar. So this is how you can add indicators, modify them and style them to your liking. But there's even more, because if you do not like to use indicators, then you can simply remove them. Even if they're on by default, you can simply remove them. And then you can do, let's say, if you like to do analysis, let's say based off of Fibonacci, or if you just simply like to mark out horizontal and resistance levels, then you can use the toolbar on your left side. In this case, I want to find out where is an important Fibonacci level. So what I can do over here is simply click on the Fibonacci tool, I select the low over here, and I simply select the high over here. And there I have my levels where I can look for potential support should price decrease, where we have multiple Fibonacci levels and where we can look for a potential reaction to make a potential investment. Now keep in mind, always do your own research, because in the end, trading is risky. However, using the tools to your advantage can help you make a more informed one. Another tool that I really like to use is simply a normal trend line that can be used for various purposes, such as pointing out a trend line, for example. So let's say we have risen in price, and since then we have pretty much consolidated over here. So by now I am identifying this as a support region, and as you can see that currently price is simply now hovering around that support region. What I want to do is I want to change this line because I don't find it very pleasing to look at currently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it white so that it is clear to me to see. So as you can see now already, we are starting to lose support. But at the same time, what if we would increase in price? Then you can use that same tool, for example, by clicking on it, holding control, duplicating the line by simply holding control, clicking on your mouse button and dragging away from it, then letting go of your mouse button at first before you let go of the control button. And there you go, you have now created a line, a duplicated line, which will save you some time because you do not have to go to your toolbar again and change the color, let's say once again. Now I have mapped out my support level and horizontal level where I can deepen my technical analysis and eventually, once again, make an informed decision on where I might be interested to take my next investment or take profits from an investment that I am already in. That concludes this episode for this time. I'm very much looking forward to seeing you again in the next one.